I am Rhona Erasmus. I am originally from Hamlet, which outside Ceres, a very small town in the Western Cape. Went to university in Cape Town, ended up working at that same university for a few years before I started at SANRAL. So my background is in student funding, and I think for me always there's a passion or an understanding or an interest in student funding. I was an NSFAS recipient, and I understood how funding opened or gave me access to tertiary studies. So for me, there's always been an interest in students and student funding, student support. The scholarships have been running since 2009. It initially started off as a program that were focused on high school learners that were doing STEM subjects. And initially, I think the idea was that it is a feeder into the bursary program. So a learner that had the scholarship could potentially get a bursary if they were going to do engineering. Through our policies and wanting to be more inclusive, that has changed. The scholarship now include learners from grade 8 to grade 12, and it's open to learners across the subject spectrum. So you no longer just have to do some STEM subjects to be able to apply for the scholarship. The bursary started in 2007, initially aimed at civil engineering students. That's our core function. So aiming at getting students through the bursary program and hopefully being able to influence the industry. I think if you look at statistics in South Africa, there's the assumption that everybody goes to school and they finish matric. It's not always possible for everybody to do that. So our investment in high school has its results. The idea is that everybody has the same access. The same with bursaries. Our students, or the idea is that someone should be able to go to university and not be worried about how I'm going to pay my fees, or the only stress should be how well I'm going to do or if I'm going to pass. So I think it's about access, one. And then secondary, I think with our graduate training program, it is about giving someone the skills that they need to be able to enter the job market. So you not just have the degree, but you also have the work experience and the certification. If, for instance, civil engineering, you would have the professional registration once you enter the market. And I think that adds to how a young person is more employable. The youth are more employable. So the application is available on our SANRAL website. It's a data-free application, and you are able to exit, meaning you are able to access it without having to have data. I think I understand the funding phenomenon better. I think I understand that SANRAL is trying to equip the youth, especially within the environment that we do business in, with skills that is required in the job market. We are trying to train young people through our bursary program, through graduate training, internships, work integrated learning, get them ready for the job market. Also to have that qualification in hand at the end of the day. I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned at SANRAL. What I'm most proud of is at the end, in the beginning, when you meet a bursary student, there's always a lot of nerves, unsure of, am I doing the right thing? And then when you meet the same person 4 years down the line, when they've completed their qualifications, there's a whole different person waiting at the end of the qualification. And even better yet, when that person is absorbed into graduate training, and you can finally welcome them back as colleagues. I think it's full circle. I think it really, you can see the impact of the program at that point. And I think it's very valuable, and I think it's very rewarding